The knock came in the middle of a snowstorm. 3 sharp raps against the door, urgent, trembling. I opened it to find my nephew, 8 years old, his lips blue, breath fogging in the night, and in his arms, a baby, wrapped in nothing but a thin blanket. "Please help," he stammered. "This baby's life is in danger." I pulled them inside, heat rushing out into the night. His small hands clung to the bundle as if letting go would mean death itself. At the hospital, nurses rushed the infant into a sterile room. Machines beeped, oxygen hissed. The doctor examined quietly, too quietly, before he turned to me. The weight in his eyes was heavier than the storm outside. "This baby," he said, "is severely malnourished. Signs of neglect, prolonged exposure. Someone wanted this child hidden." Hidden. The word lodged itself in my chest like a blade. And when I looked at my nephew, shaking, eyes wide with fear, I knew the storm had only begun. I asked him where the baby came from. His gaze fell to the tiled floor, lips pressed shut. Finally, in a whisper, "She told me not to tell. She said bad things would happen if I did." She, my sister-in-law. My brother had been gone for years, yet she remained in my orbit. A widow who rebuilt quickly, too quickly. A woman who always smiled when eyes were on her, but whose mask never fit quite right. Now here was my nephew, carrying evidence of her lies through a storm. A baby, malnourished, hidden. I remembered the way she laughed off questions, how she disappeared for days. The new friends, the men who visited late at night. My brother's house had turned into something else entirely, something he would never recognize. The betrayal wasn't simple, it was layered. This baby wasn't just neglected, it was proof of something much darker. And I intended to uncover every inch of it. I started with records, hospital files, birth certificates, each one missing, incomplete, or forged. The baby didn't exist, at least not officially. Phone calls traced to hotels, messages recovered from a discarded phone, payments from anonymous accounts. A pattern emerged, cold and deliberate. My sister-in-law had been living a double life. She wasn't a grieving widow. She was someone's mistress, someone's kept secret. And the baby, it wasn't my brother's legacy. It was the byproduct of her deception. Meanwhile, my nephew carried the truth in silence. I watched him closely, the way he flinched when her name was spoken, the way he never asked for her. Children don't hide pain unless they've been trained to. Every night, I pieced together the puzzle, slowly, methodically. She thought secrecy was her power. She was wrong. Silence was mine. The DNA results arrived in a plain envelope. I already knew, but still, seeing it in black and white froze me in place. Probability of my brother's paternity? 0. The baby was not his child. I drove to her house, parked in the snow, and carried the report inside. She greeted me with her painted smile, but it faltered when she saw the envelope. I set it on the table, said nothing. Her hands shook as she unfolded the paper. I watched her eyes dart, her face pale, her chest tighten. Finally, a whisper. "Who told you?" I leaned back in my chair, calm, detached. The storm did. The silence cut deeper than any scream. She collapsed into excuses, tears, trembling hands, words about survival and loneliness. But the truth was already carved into the air. I didn't yell, didn't curse. Instead, I called my nephew into the room. He stood in the doorway, small, fragile, but braver than she would ever be. I crouched beside him and said, steady, deliberate, "Your father loved you more than anything. But this baby isn't his." The words shattered her. She begged, pleaded, but he looked at her with a kind of silence no child should ever know. And in that silence, I saw it. The moment she lost him forever. Not because of me, because of herself. I didn't have to take revenge. I only had to let the truth stand between them like a wall. Days later, custody shifted. Investigations opened. She fought, clawed, screamed, but her mask had cracked too wide to ever mend. My nephew stayed with me. The baby remained under care. And she was left to rot in the ruins of her own choices. I walk past her house sometimes. The curtains still drawn, the lights still dim, a shell of the woman she pretended to be. As for me, the storm is over, but the cold remains. I saved the children from her shadow. That's all that mattered. And she is nothing now but a ghost still walking.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.